14 out of 15. We're live across all the channels with no viewers yet, according to my counter, but we know how inaccurate that always is. I just had a nice conversation with one of my friends back in California. We took the dog for a walk. That's why I'm a little bit late. I wanted to go live at 7. It's 7:10 right now. Cheers, everybody. No law regarding cannabis. Happy 7:10. I'm just going to put a little bud on top of this ash here. I got a little something to smoke here, so I'm going to sink my teeth into. Cheers. Freaking Argo finally catching you alive again. Kenny Cox says MTF. Marjorie Taylor fucker. What? MTF? What? What's MTF? Kenny Cox. Nick Brown. Show. Cheers. Sup gang? I just got home and was jamming out to some Behemoth. Dino. It's 4:10. Dino. What's up, buddy? Phil, hey. What's up, everybody? So let's go ahead. We got Big Merc, and we got Phil, we got Dino, we got NY710. I'm going to go ahead and give myself a refresh here on the chat really quick. Okay, so it looks like, wow, man, the Senate passed the first procedural vote on bipartisan gun safety bill. 64-34, man. Holy shit. They passed it. That was 3 hours ago. That was what BJ Butts was talking about, I believe, earlier, in the earlier show today. I got a little confused. I even had time today to cut out a little clip that I put on Twitter about Sabby Sab's bangs. My cat is coming. I had a cup of coffee. I think the headache that I had was from not drinking coffee, because I haven't had any coffee today. So I had a cup of coffee. I was thinking about having another one on the show. You know, I need to take these pills right here. I was outside doing stuff, and then I was walking the dog, and I took him for a really nice long walk, and this older, rather attractive woman in a really nice Range Rover convertible with her husband, I believe, sitting in the passenger seat, pulled up and stopped while Rogie and I were walking down the street, and she started talking to the dog, and she goes, "You are beautiful. You are so gorgeous." And I'm just loving it, you know? And the husband's just like, yeah, she loved Rogan, man. She drove off real slow, man. She's like affected by how cute my dog was. I'm like, I know, he's cute, man. He is a cute-ass dog. And I was on the phone with my friend, and she heard that, you know, and she's like, oh, yeah, she wasn't surprised. She's like, you know us dog lovers. You know how we are. And I was like, yep. I know. So I'm sad I've lost the chat. I've completely lost the chat. Can anybody chat in the chat and say something in the chat? Oh, there we go. Thank you, Big Merc. He said Twitter sphered. Oh, thank you, buddy. Whoa, dude, look at all these retweets already. God, I can barely hear that phone ringing. I don't even have my door on. We're just getting started, aren't we, guys? I'm thinking about a splash of kefefe, so let's do it. My cat is crazy. Hey, cat, how about I put you outside so you stop bothering all of us? What do you think about that? You want to go outside? I'm about to put you outside, squeaks a million times and never stops. I've just found this on my walk outside. It could be an owl feather or a hawk. And I don't know which one. They have very similar feathers. I don't know. Alright, I'm going to go make that kefefe. What do you guys think about that? I'm going to start the shoe show. Okay, here we go. You guys are waiting, hanging out. You guys able to see each other's chat while I was gone? Getting my kefefe. Bring the door over. hopefully we won't need it. Hopefully I won't start yelling and screaming about it. Because I don't want to do that anymore, man. You know? So I can stop. At least when Mom is present. You know? Show her a little more respect for allowing me to be in this home. Do you know what I mean, guys? Let me turn on the brightness here a little bit. Right here. Okay. I know what you mean. So, found that on my walk with Rogie out on the street, you know, my neighbors, in front of my neighbor's house there. There's a place I can put that. No, I guess not. I guess there isn't. So Bloomberg is saying there's some signs in the housing market that things are about to go awry. It's an interesting conversation some of my friends are having with me right now. Some of us are looking at homes. I'm looking at one. If the whole market's about to crash, then I want to wait to buy a home when prices dip, you know? What else is going on? Florida Democrat who lost to Ron DeSantis is going to be indicted in federal court for alleged fraud tied to his campaign. Wire fraud. Conspiracy, wire fraud, and this is from Fox News. 19 counts of wire fraud. Trying to solicit false somethings or others. I don't know. It brought up an ad, so I close out the page because, oh well, that's all the news I'm going to get there. Cardano is fucking trending? Holy shit. We're about to see a large piece of Ethereum market share migrate to Cardano in the next bear to bull cycle. Huh. It's from a blue check. I know what you mean. Light as a feather. Billy Bong Thornton, what's up, buddy? So, let's see. That's really nothing else going on with Cardano. Alright, that was interesting. I hold some of that. Let's see if there's anything in the YouTubeosphere. U.S. has no moral authority, Lee Camp. Ben Roach, hello, what's up? Snopes debunked on lockdowns. Ben Stiller visits Ukraine, calls Zelensky. How are you going to debunk a lockdown? I mean, what they're going to say is, oh, well, places that had lockdowns, this is going on and that's going on. And I'm going to say, I mean, a real lockdown is you're not going to see other people. How are you going to deny that that doesn't work? It's the ultimate social distancing. You're not going to get it if you're really locked down, Jimmy. Jimmy Dore and I totally disagree on this. I mean, we've never really done a real lockdown like, you know, Singapore does or like North Korea does, where you leave your home, you go to fucking prison. You go to a fucking internment camp. You know? They do that shit in other countries. If we did something like that, do you remember Australia went crazy on some shit? There's been crazy shit. But, you know, scientifically, science dictates it would work if you actually did it. And remember what I said when it first happened? I was like, dude, if we just do this shit for 2 weeks to a month, if we just really did it, we'd be done with it. You know? And we could have done that, and it's like, I was like, it'd be so easy. And then month after month after month, and I started losing friends and family members dying to this motherfucker. And month after month after month, and audience members dying from this. You know, I'm having to build back my audience from COVID deaths. Do you realize that? You realize that? We took a beating, bro. Karsten Menk died from fucking COVID. I don't know how many other people died from COVID. You know? But when you have somebody that comes to every show and then suddenly they're dead, you know, you recognize that you feel that. You feel that pain. Especially when you have the small audience retention that I have. It's a huge difference. One person makes a huge difference. You talk to Karsten. Yeah. Back in the day. You're so sad about that. I know, but look at it this way. We've got I'm Adidas now, bro. You know, every time I'm Adidas comes in here, I think about Karsten. And it's like a memorial for him. Don't you guys? You know? It's like you watch a show and there's one of your favorite actors is playing this character, you know, and then a season goes by and all of a sudden it's a different actor playing the same character. And you're like, you know, but you never forget the original actor, man. You used to message each other daily. Wow. Cook me one of those burgers you fixed. They looked awesome. Shane, what's up, buddy? You still plugging away, man, with the videos? You still doing the funny? I'm so sad about that, man. I remember having like 10 new profiles for him. We used to message each other there. Cook me one of those burgers you fixed. They look awesome. Okay, we are all caught up on the chat. So I guess we're gonna get to the smoking section of the show after we get through the pill taking section of the show. Trump and Giuliani obliterated by Republican in January 6th hearing. Yeah, I told you guys I watched that. Well, Kyle Klinsky covered it. I don't know if he brings up actual footage from the testimony, but I would love for you guys to see some of that testimony that I saw. So let me see if Kyle Klinsky brings it up, and we'll...
Guys, I got to give you an update on what's going on with the January 6th committee, because there's so many
some cannabis.
Insane
Bottom of the hour
that happened. So first of all, I'm not going to show you this video here because it's pretty long, but this title says it all.
Oh.
So there's a Georgia election worker who was basically the target of a campaign by Rudy Giuliani.
I don't know why
Rudy
he's not on
Giuliani was on social media going full stop the steal, rigged election.
He is going to show the video.
And he claimed that they had on video an election worker handing out USB ports, and that was part.
Okay, and that was bullshit. I told you about that.
greatly affects the election. So let's see what he says here.
And at that meeting, did Mr. Giuliani raise any specific allegations of election fraud again?
His initial comments were, again, the litany of groups of illegal individuals or people deceased, etc. And he had brought that up, and I wasn't alone in that meeting. There were others, and other members of the Senate aggressively questioned him. And then I proceeded to question him on the proof that he was going to bring me, etc. But he did bring those up, yes.
And these other legislators
Welcome
were also
to
Republican
the
members
smoking
of the Senate?
section.
They were, yes, sir.
And did they also press him for proof
I
of these
love it.
allegations?
They pressed him very strongly. Two of them especially, very strongly.
And at some
Hashtag
point,
the smoking
did Mr.
section.
Giuliani ask one of the other attorneys on his team to help him out with the evidence?
He did. He asked Jenna Ellis, who was sitting to his right. One thing was that it was more to the point of, was there sufficient evidence or action?
You need to understand something. Some people, they're Trump supporters or they're Republicans or whatever. They don't think that this is important or that they want to hear about this information. I know some of those people are going to leave the live stream. And I'm going to tell you why they're actually going to leave the live stream. Because what this guy says proves that they are idiots that follow Donald Trump. That he's been lying to them all along and they don't want to hear it. They know, but they don't want to hear it. It's fucking sad and it's fucking pathetic, and you need to get unbutthurt over that shit, folks. Okay? And you need to fucking listen to the fat lady sing. So come listen to the fat lady sing. Let's get high.
That we could justify the recalling of the electors. But at that part of the conversation, I know he referred to someone else. But he did ask, do we have the proof, to Jenna, Miss Ellis? And she said yes. And I said, I want the names. Do you have the names? Yes. Do you have how they voted? We have all the information. I said, can you get to me that information? Did you bring it with you? She said, no. Both Mr. Giuliani asked her and I asked generally if they'd brought it with them.
Bottom of
She
the
said,
hour.
no, it's not with me, but we can get it to you. And I said, then you didn't bring me the evidence.
No law regarding cannabis.
Which was repeated in different
Cheers.
iterations.
I love you guys. Stick around, man. Stick around.
At some point,
Don't
did
take off.
one of them
Don't take off. Don't
make
take
a
off.
comment that they didn't have evidence, but they had a lot of theories?
That was Mr. Giuliani.
And what exactly did he say, and how did that come up?
My recollection, he said, we've got lots of theories, we just don't have the evidence. And I don't know if that...
Wow. So he's going to this guy, the Arizona State House Speaker, who has a very important role in Arizona certifying the election. He wants him to recall the Biden electors and appoint, like, fake Trump electors. He's trying to get this guy to overturn the state of Arizona because he's trying to overturn the election nationally. And this guy, he's a Republican. He's hearing him out. He's like, okay, do you have the evidence? Oh, yeah, we have the evidence. Where is it? Let me see it. Well, I don't exactly have it with me, but you got to trust me. We have the evidence. We have all of it. Okay, but I need to see it. Okay, but see, what happened was me and Craig and them was down by the Safeway. I don't even know exactly where it is, but you know what I'm saying? Maybe you should probably help us out in one way or another. And he's like, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, I do not know what you're asking me to do. And Rudy Giuliani effectively admits, yeah, we have a lot of theories, but we don't have the evidence. Well, what the fuck then? Stop wasting everybody's time. They're trying to effectively... Look, the more dark interpretation of this is they don't even care that they don't have the evidence. They're just trying to force Homeboy to concede and help them steal the election.
That was a gaffe, or maybe he didn't think through what he said, but both myself and others in my group, the three in my group and my council, both remembered that specifically, and afterwards...
This gaffe that he's discussing is Rudy Giuliani saying what Kyle Kulinski just said he said, which was he accidentally kind of said, well, we have a lot of theories, we just don't have any evidence. Giuliani literally said that. And right now he's about to say, and we laughed about that shit.
Kind of laughed about it.
And getting back to the ask in that phone call that preceded this meeting, He wanted you to have the legislature dismiss the Biden electors and replace them with Trump electors on the basis of these theories of fraud.
He did not say it in those exact words, but he did say that Arizona law, according to what he understood, that would be allowed, and that we needed to come into session to take care of that, which initiated a discussion about, again, what I can legally and not legally do, and I can't go into session in Arizona unilaterally or on my sole prerogative.
This meeting or at any other later time, did anyone provide you with evidence of election fraud sufficient to affect the outcome of the presidential election in Arizona?
No one provided me ever such
I'm just kind of wondering, Billy Bong, why would you like to smack that Schiff character? Especially, why would you say that right now? Because he's sitting here doing an excellent, very professional job. He's asking straight questions, and he's showing absolutely no emotion. He's being completely neutral. And you say, boy, I'd like to smack that Schiff character. This is what's wrong with politics today, man, is people aren't judging politicians based on legitimate problems with them. You have a problem with him, bro. What is it exactly? What's your problem with that guy? You have a problem with him that he's a warmonger? Like Nancy Pelosi? Yeah, I'd like to smack her too. But I don't see her doing something good. I see him going in there and actually running this whole committee. And I even commented on this yesterday. I was like, Adam Schiff did a great fucking job. I was impressed by the professionalism. Because while this guy was saying shit, he delayed COVID reliefs. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's legit, bro. I got you. I don't know what you're talking about, but right on. I totally, if he did, he did. I agree with you.
Wow. All right, more.
So that was the first ask, that we hold an official committee hearing.
And what was his second ask?
I said, to what end? To what end the hearing? He said, well, we have heard by an official high up in the Republican legislature that there is a legal theory or a legal ability in Arizona that you can remove the electors of President Biden and replace them. And we would like to have the legitimate opportunity through the committee to come to that end and remove that. And I said, that's totally new to me. I've never heard of any such thing. And he pressed that point, and I said, look, you are asking me to do something that is counter to my oath when I swore to the Constitution to uphold it, and I also swore to the Constitution and the laws of the state of Arizona, and this is totally foreign as an idea or a theory to me, and I would never do anything of such magnitude without deep consultation with qualified attorneys. And I said, I've got some good attorneys, and I'm going to give you their names. But you're asking me to do something against my oath, and I will not break my oath. And I think that was up to that point.
During the conversation, and you heard, I think, when we played a snippet of Mr. Giuliani calling other state legislators and saying that he was calling us essentially a fellow Republican, did he make a similar appeal to you or bring up the fact that you shared a similar party?
Okay,
whether it was in that call or in a later meeting, he did bring that up more than once.
We do a dab at 7:41.
And how would he bring that up?
He would say, aren't we all Republicans here? I would think we would get a better reception. I mean, I would think you would listen a little more open to my suggestions that we're all Republicans.
And this evidence that you asked him for that would justify this extraordinary step, I think you said they never produced. Why did you feel, either in the absence of that evidence or with it, what they were asking you to do would violate your oath to the Constitution?
First of all, when the people, and in Arizona, I believe some 40 plus years earlier, the legislature had established the manner of electing our officials, or the electors for the presidential race. Once it was given to the people, as in
guys.
Bush v. Gore,
No law regarding
illustrated by the
cannabis.
Supreme Court. It becomes a fundamental right of the people.
Going in hot, baby!
So as far as I was concerned, for someone to ask me in the, I would call it a paucity, there was no evidence being presented of any strength. Evidence can be hearsay evidence, it's still evidence, but it's still hearsay. But strong judicial quality evidence, anything that would say to me, you have a doubt, deny your oath. I will not do that. And on more than one occasion throughout all this, that has been brought up. And it is a tenet of my
It's
faith.
just so oily and tasty.
Jeez. Wow. All right. This is fucking crazy, man. This is crazy. So again, this guy, I have no doubt that me and this guy would not agree on almost anything politically. He's an elected Republican in the state of Arizona.
Listen.
But this guy watched Giuliani
It tasted
and his
so
gaggle of
fresh and
idiots
delicious and
clowns
oily and good.
try to convince him
Oh my God.
to basically
Oh
overturn
my
the
God.
results of the election. And he was like, what are you even asking me to do? Like, you have no evidence. There isn't even a procedure in place where I can do this, even if you wanted me to, and I'm not remotely convinced about any of your
Frankie
claims.
Fire.
And look, so here's the thing. In a world that made sense, all of this information would lead to criminal charges. I mean, Trump, there's a whole separate question. He's committed fraud 1 trillion times. He defrauded his own people to the tune of $250
Joe
billion
H., what's up,
recently,
son?
saying all the funds are going to go to help us overturn the election, and then they didn't even establish the pact that they said they established. That was a fraud. Trump University was a fraud.
He's basically done there anyway. We can go back to main cam. I just thought it was very interesting that you guys hear some of the testimony that was yesterday was just fantastic. Ben Stiller visits Ukraine, calls Zelensky his hero. So Jimmy Dore's live right now. He's got 12,000 viewers.
The three principled false narratives promoted by the network of conspiracy theorists involve misrepresenting the white helmets, the volunteer. Although we found out that they were actually being funded by Western governments, and they were working on behalf, and they were pretending that they were neutral peace workers. They weren't, and that's been debunked. So that's just more propaganda. They also focused on the denial or distortion of facts about the Syrian regime's use of chemical weapons, and on attacking the findings of the world's foremost chemical weapons watchdog, the
I'd catch my breath.
OPCW. Now, Aaron, let me just bring you in to just respond to this real quickly.
Bigger's
You've
better,
debunked all
Professor.
this, right? All the
Aaron Monte!
the narrative from the establishment
that,
that
son?
Assad was somehow gassing his own people, and they could never prove it, and the OPCW had whistleblowers. Go ahead, you take it from there.
Well, Jimmy, what's funny about that line, which accuses me and others of attacking the findings of the OPCW, we're actually defending the findings of the OPCW.
That's right.
Because the original findings of the OPCW, when it investigated in Duma an alleged chemical attack, and the allegation that Syria was guilty led to U.S. military strikes on Syria. So this is a very serious incident. The original team that went to Duma found no evidence of a chemical
Yeah, you like
attack
watching Jimmy,
in Duma,
Joe?
which undermined the U.S.-led narrative, and that's presumably why that team's findings were doctored and censored.
You guys like being able to see
when
behind
they
me because the
accuse us
deer
of
might
attacking
run
the
across.
findings of the OPCW,
It's kinda cool, huh?
they're projecting. We're protecting the actual findings that happened when the team went to Duma, and we're standing up to and exposing the OPCW's cover-up of those findings, which we know about through a series of leaked documents that we've gotten at the Gray Zone. Other places have reported on this as well. WikiLeaks was the first to publish a huge trove of these leaks. And that's what The Guardian and these people who put out these reports can never contend with. This is not about attacking the OPCW. This is about defending the OPCW from being compromised by the states who have been waging a dirty war in Syria and who have used allegations of chemical weapons attacks to not only bomb Syria, but also impose murderous sanctions on Syria that kill more people. So we're the ones that are actually defending it from being compromised and actually trying to stand up for its own scientific integrity, which it's refused to do.
By the way, who wrote? Let me see who wrote this. Hopefully, by Mark Townsend. Okay, I think he might make
Sounds
an
familiar, doesn't
he
he?
might make an appearance. We'll see. The new analysis contained in a report by the Syrian campaign also found that official Russian government accounts played a key role in creating and spreading false content, with the Russian embassy to UK and Syria playing a prominent role. So now they try. Okay, you're a Russian. That's
like that.
that's the go-to today because Russia was stopping the overthrow of the Assad government by who? By ISIS and terrorists. By crazy fundamentalist Muslim terrorists. That's who were going to take over in Syria, and they didn't want them to take over. Among those named in the report as influential spreader of disinformation are Vanessa Beeley, a self-described independent journalist whose conspiracy theories have been cited as evidence by Russia at the UN Security Council. You know, conspiracy theories like water is wet, things like that. In September 2015, Beeley accused White Helmets of being in league with the Al-Qaeda and other terrorist organizations, claiming that the footage they gather as they rescue civilians from bombed-out buildings is staged. It was staged.
I like watching
So
Jimmy
that's the
doing
Guardian
bomb
lying
rips
again.
while
This is
I
called
watch him.
disinformation propaganda.
No law regarding cannabis.
There is also
Cheers.
a group of British academics accused of
Quarter of
spreading
the hour.
pro-Syrian regime disinformation and conspiracy theories promoted by Russia. Since 2020, journalist Aaron Mate at the Gray Zone is said by the report to have overtaken Beeley as the most prolific spreader of disinformation among the 28 conspiracy theorists identified. So what that tells me is that Aaron Mate is doing the best work. And he's debunking the most state propaganda than all of them. That's what that
Wow, well
tells
said,
me.
Jimmy.
You want to say anything about that?
Well, first of all, Jimmy, on the point about the White Helmets working with Al Qaeda, that's a documented fact. There are photos of when Al Qaeda took over Idlib, members of the White Helmets go in there gathering to celebrate. And that's because the White Helmets were a group, essentially a propaganda organization that only worked in opposition controlled territories and worked closely with insurgent death squads who killed people. And actually, there's a video out there of the White Helmets taking part in executions by these sectarian death squads. So the fact that they work with Al Qaeda is just a documented fact. And that's why, for example, when some White Helmets members have even tried to travel to the US, they've been denied visas. So ironically, the US government, while it's funding the White Helmets, is denying White Helmets members access to the US.
I left Jimmy to come here. Cheers, Phil. Thank you,
that some of
buddy.
these people work
Bong
directly
hits while we
with Al
watch
Qaeda.
Jimmy.
And in terms of saying that I'm a leading purveyor of
So
disinformation,
you get to both now.
what's funny about this
Phil, you
Guardian
get both.
article and the report it's based on, they don't cite a single example of me spreading disinformation. The few times their study mentions my work, they say that I attacked Bellingcat, which is another state-funded organization.
It's almost
and they linked to
420
an
in
article that I
Newfoundland.
wrote in which I exposed an outright Bellingcat
Put a
lie.
little
Even
bit
Bellingcat
more
had to
heat
correct
in
their
the
article
vein.
that I was correcting, because basically they accused me and an OPCW whistleblower and others of concealing some sort of damning letter that they believed disproved all the
20
whistleblower claims.
seconds.
In reality, as I reported, that letter didn't exist. It was never sent. Okay, so it was fake. So actually, they're not even accusing me of spreading disinformation there, but
All
their
right, you
example
guys.
that I attacked Bellingcat is even they're actually
No law
mischaracterizing what
regarding
happened, because even
cannabis.
Bellingcat admitted
Happy
they had
420.
printed false information. The other example
Newfoundland, cheers.
is they say that something that I spread the point of view that the OPCW investigation into Duma was flawed. Okay,
It was
So
flawed.
actually, they're well, yeah. To put it mildly, they're actually underselling what I was saying. I'm saying it was compromised. There was a massive cover-up, and we know about that from a trove of leaked documents that, again, nobody can refute. If anybody really thought I was spreading disinformation, they could write an article saying this is what Aaron Mate got wrong, but they can't, because what I'm reporting is based on leaks from inside the OPCW, and the case is so damning. There's a reason I've written more than 10 articles on this, because there's so much material and it's so explosive. And we've talked about the various elements of its cover-up. It's extensive and it was massive, and it was all done in the direction of trying to accuse Syria of a chemical weapons attack when they knew all the evidence pointed to this being staged by insurgent death squads. And so the irony of accusing me of spreading disinformation and spreading conspiracy theories,
Oh, I've got
they're the
the-
ones who are spreading.
I realize I just got the
disinformation.
blinds
They're the ones who are
open.
spreading conspiracy theories
So
that somehow I'm
louder out
backed
there.
by Russia. It's a
Remember that.
giant act of projection, and
Make it a lot
that's why they
quieter.
can't defend it. And that's why the author of this article in The Guardian didn't contact me prior to publication. You think if you're going to call someone a leading spreader of disinformation, you at least contact them for comment. That's like journalism 101. He didn't do that, and of course he didn't, because these people are intellectual cowards.
Others include Canadian independent journalist Eva Bartlett, who's been a guest on this show debunking the Syrian narrative.
Hey,
She
Shelly.
appeared on a Syrian government panel at the UN alleging that the White Helmets stage rescues. They do. One version of the talk has been viewed 4.5 million times on Facebook. They make that seem like, oh, that's bad. People are getting information that we don't like. Lena Serge Attar, founder of and chief executive of Karam Foundation, said it's insulting that a group of Western conspiracy theorists think they hold a higher moral standard, but just spread their lies. Yeah, because you know who really cares about the truth? It's the corporate media. We all know that.
I don't understand, like, who is this for? Like, who's smart enough to, like, care about if
I
there's a
turned it down.
conspiracy
I
about
thought it was a
Syria,
little
but,
too
like,
loud.
dumb enough to not notice that there's literally no details at all in this article. Like, none of, it's just like, he's bad, and then they don't tell you.
Well,
I mean, that stuck out immediately that there's no specifics.
that's a great question. Look, what this is for is at the end of this report from the Institute for Strategic Dialogue, and as you said, Jimmy, The Guardian failed to mention that the Institute for Strategic Dialogue is funded by the US, the UK, and all these other governments that were belligerents in the dirty war in Syria. And they also didn't mention that the Syria campaign, the other author of the study, that was founded with the money of a opposition oil tycoon who was also the main financial backer of the main Syrian exile opposition coalition. So this is not some unbiased source. This is the belligerents in the Syria dirty war funding the Institute for Strategic Dialogue, and then a major Syrian
We
opposition
could actually talk
funder,
about that.
backing the other group,
You
the
know,
Syria campaign, which of course the Guardian
I brought Jimmy
along with
Dore
them to
up.
contact me. But in terms of why
I brought Jimmy Dore up on my show, and half my audience left. So, I'll turn that off. God, man, I don't understand people. We're all hanging out together. Just take a gander over here really fast. The last thing I want to look at. Ooh. Big drop in the market, crypto market. All right, I think I'm gonna go anyway, guys. Love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye now.